Let's get creative, provoke some thought, and have a look at the evolution of our golf games. Component number 3 in the R3 approach shows how, as we gain experience with and exposure to the game, it shows how our games do in fact evolve. We might even be able to accelerate this evolution by beginning with the end in mind and knowing that this is how it takes place. Let's have a look at component number 3, the blending puzzle. Okay, as we genuinely improve at the game, it will be happening because we're having fun directing our thoughts and actions at the right things in the right way and at the right time. Beginning with the end in mind, we know that we're going to start out knowing that we're going to create a fluidly good process for playing the game. In order to do this, we know that we'll have to direct our thoughts and actions from the mechanical perspective, which has to do with our golf club. We know that this perspective tells us that the golf club is a tool and that our objective is to use that tool in a manner close to the way in which it was designed to be used. Then we'll direct some thought and action from the physical perspective. This will have to do with our body and how our body is going to support that golf club as we build those mechanically sound movements. And then we'll ultimately direct our thought and action from the tactical perspective. This has to do with our brain, the control center. This obviously is in control of everything that we do, so as we're continuing to direct our thoughts and actions at the right things in the right way and at the right time, we'll know that we are in fact getting to the point where all four of these perspectives are complementing one another and they're operating in a fluidly good manner. This is what the overall objective of the R3 approach is to continue having fun developing our games to the point where they can be mechanically sound, physically athletic, and tactically fluid processes for playing the game. Let's have a look at the first version of the blending puzzle, version 1.0. As golfers, we all possess these 16 characteristic traits of playing the game. Fluidity simply means that we're doing things without thinking about it. In other words, we're just doing things in a fluid manner. Feel indicates that we need to have a good intuitive sense for what playing a golf shot is all about. We all do want to be consistent at playing the game, consistently good that is. In order to be consistently good, we're going to have to understand and direct our thoughts and actions from the other perspectives. In terms of the mechanical perspective, we'll know that the three pieces here have to do with the three mechanical laws of playing the game. Golf club's a tool, so we'll understand that in terms of using that tool in a manner close to the way in which it's designed to be used, we'll understand that angle is all about creating power in the golf swing. Then we'll understand that that angle needs to be moved through a consistently good and acceptable swing path. And then ultimately, we'll understand that we need to release that angle as we swing the club. Then we'll shift our focus down to the third perspective, the physical perspective. Here we'll understand that our body is our mechanism for swinging the golf club. Therefore, we need to direct our thoughts and actions from the standpoint of the ready position in our golf swing, the grip, aim, and setup. And then we'll understand that rhythm and timing are in fact what's responsible for the quality of any given shot that we hit. And then in terms of genuinely improving, we'll shift our focus over to the fourth perspective, the tactical perspective. Here we'll understand that our brain is the control center, obviously, for everything that's going on. So in terms of becoming a better tactician, we'll begin to understand the difference between emotional processes that we have going on as we play. We'll understand what our mental processes have to do with in terms of what we're doing when we're on the golf course. Our emotional processes and mental processes ultimately create our belief system in terms of how it is that we actually will play when we're on the golf course. So collectively speaking, what's happening is all four of these perspectives are blending together in such a manner that we will obtain our overall objective of building a golf swing and a playing process that is in fact going to be mechanically sound, physically athletic, and tactically fluid. As we continue to have experience and exposure with the game, all 16 of these pieces will in fact develop. In that regard, let's have a look at version 2.0 of the blending puzzle. Version 2.0 of the blending puzzle shows each piece of the puzzle becoming a little bit more developed as we gain experience with and exposure to the game. The most important thing to realize at this point, however, is that there's two directions from which we'll be approaching our overall game improvement process. There's what we call in the R3 approach the what axis. This is what we're working on. It has to do with the mechanical and physical perspectives. And then there's the how axis. This has to do with how it is we're going to take what it is we've been working on while over there on the what axis. This has to do with how it is that we'll take what it is we have and have it work well for us once we're on the golf course. The how axis has to do with our brain, the control center, and the fact that we'll have to take what we've got and make it work once we get to the golf course. This is very much a tactical process. In terms of each piece of that puzzle, when we have a little closer look at each piece. Fluidity indicates that there's good fluidity and there's poor fluidity. The worst place to be is caught in the middle of the two. Then we introduced the fact that we'll be developing touch in terms of having our feel for the game improve. And then as far as being consistently good at our playing process, it'll require that we become persistent with working on all those things necessary in order for that to happen. As far as the mechanical perspective goes, looking at these three pieces, the three mechanical laws, we'll understand now that it's our arms and the shaft of the club that do create the angle, and that the angle is our primary source of power in the swing. We'll know now that in order to get good directional control of our golf ball, it's going to be required that we develop a consistently good and repeating swing path. And then we'll know that our release action is ultimately responsible for the power and direction that we have with our golf shots. So release action becomes a very important aspect to developing a mechanically sound swing. And then sliding down the what axis to the physical perspective, again we'll know that our body creates the ready position in the swing, which has to do with our grip, aim, and setup. Here we understand that too, that rhythm and timing are actually connected. Creates the athletic factor in our swing, and it's ultimately responsible for the quality of any given shot that we hit. Then moving over to the tactical perspective, perspective number 4, we now see that emotions are actually reflexive feelings. We can't avoid feeling them. And we'll know that our mental processes will have everything to do with how it is that we handle those reflexive emotional feelings that we have as we play golf shots during our round. And then we'll know that our belief system is actually what creates our ability to take what we've got and make it work. So altogether, collectively speaking, we see that all 4 perspectives are beginning to blend together now. Most important thing to realize at this point is again to know that we're going to have to anticipate the need to get off of that what axis and get onto that how axis in order to be able to genuinely take what we've got, have it work well for us once we're on the golf course. Okay, with this in mind, we can have a look at the third version of the puzzle, which shows all the pieces of the puzzle in their fully developed form. Version 3.0 of the puzzle shows all 16 pieces in their completed version, again reminding us that we are in fact going to have to cross that bridge from the what axis over to the how axis and begin taking what we've got and making it work. Looking at these 4 perspectives, we can see now that as far as the completed version goes, that factual perspective up there starts off with beginning with the end in mind, telling us that if we're going to play in good fluid motion, which is our ultimate goal, we're going to have to understand law number 5 of the 5 universal laws, the 5th law, the law of subtraction. That's what truly gets us to the point where we can in fact experience the zone and have those good fluid motion experiences. We see as far as feel goes that now it's a matter of having touch, feel, and intuition for playing golf shots when we're on the golf course. Feel is all about having a good intuitive sense for doing with the golf club what the shot is calling for us to do with the golf club. So that's what feel is all about. There we see that consistency that we want as far as being fluidly good is going to require that we be persistent with all things necessary in order to make that happen. And then as far as the mechanical perspective goes, our golf club, the tool, it's all about our arms and the shaft of the club. This is where we create lag power in the swing. This is our primary source of power in the golf swing. It's all about creating lag in our golf swing. And then again, we're going to have to move that angle through a consistently acceptable and repeating swing path in order to get some good directional control of how we're hitting golf shots. And then again, the very important third universal law, the 4th of the 5 universal laws, release action. It's going to have to do with our arms and body releasing effectively during our golf swing. And then we'll move down that what axis to the physical perspective. Here again we see that our body is the ready position in the golf swing. It involves our grip, aim, and setup. Here also we point out the fact that in order to create a good athletic movement, we want to keep a good spine angle during the swing, and that will be happening around 2 pivots as we make our golf swing. And again, the athletic factor is all about rhythm and timing in the swing. The rhythm and timing that we have on any given swing determines the quality of any given shot that we hit. And then crossing that bridge over there to the tactical perspective, the 4th perspective. Here again it shows that our brain is the control center. Well, when we're playing great golf, it all starts with our pre-shot routine, so we'll know that our pre-shot routine sets up the whole process of playing any given golf shots. Again, we're reminded that Emotional processes are in fact reflexive feelings that we can't avoid feeling as we play golf. So we'll be hitting golf shots around during the course of a round that are going to create emotional responses. It's our mental processes, our thoughts, attitudes, and decisions that will determine how it is that we handle those emotional processes that we're experiencing during the round. And then law number one, the first of the 5 universal laws, it's all about making it work, taking what we've got and making it work once we're on the golf course. This is very much a tactical process. It is set up by our belief system, and our belief system is based on the perceptions that we have relative to the confidence level that we have at any given moment, and our ability to shift our focus from creative mindset to a competitive mindset. Again, this is very much a tactical process and determines how it is that we will ultimately be able to take what we've got and make it work. And then we know, having begun with the end in mind, we know that as we move through that 4th perspective there, we are on our way back up to, in fact, perspective number 1, which is where we began the whole process. And this is all about beginning with the end in mind, with the objective of ultimately playing in good fluid motion once we're on the golf course. So again, here we see that the 4 perspectives again are all blending together in such a way that we will in fact develop a mechanically sound, physically athletic, and tactically fluid process for playing the game. This gets us back up to perspective number 1, which is where we began the whole process. This is the anatomy of everything required in terms of knowing what's involved with playing our best golf. So, as we continue to direct our thoughts and actions towards each one of these puzzle pieces, we will in fact understand the anatomy of everything required to play our best golf. We'll have fun with the process of exploring each of these pieces. This is what the R3 approach is all about. Okay, as always, let's continue having fun with our game improvement processes, and let's continue doing good work. There we have it, a holistic blueprint showing virtually everything required of us as golfers in order to play in good fluid motion, which is the same thing as having zone experiences when we play. In the R3 approach, it's a tenet that when we're involved with this awesome and peculiar game, we're both player, competitor, teacher, and coach all at the same time. We also contend that when we take these 4 roles collectively, it makes us all students of the game. Well, in terms of preparing to have zone experiences like this, we have to have that good information. Again, that good information is provided for in the R3 approach. The R3 approach, again, is a continuing reference that we all can use in order to provoke that thought, stimulate that enthusiasm, and help to direct those efforts toward getting to the point where we can, in fact, play in good fluid motion and have those zone experiences that we're all looking for. Okay, as we always say, let's continue enjoying our game improvement processes, and let's all continue doing good work.